Welcome to the Dynasty Podcast. I am your fucking host, Corey Hahn. It's been a while. Here with a hungover Roman Weiser and a happily married husband, Ben Ziegler. Where do I start? Where do I begin? Roman, how you feeling this morning? Tell me about how your night ended up last night. What was the 7 o'clock till
Look,
2 in the morning?
look, it feels awesome, you know.
Welcome back to Tamarindo, huh?
I'm in Costa Rica, just like paradise, right?
Looks
Man,
pretty
I don't
nice.
show off my views very often. That just feels mean, Roman.
Yeah, way to tease everybody that lives in.
Our viewers hate you 10 times more now.
No, I feel great. I'm in Tamarindo. I'm came to spend some time with my son. I'm gonna pick him up today at 3 o'clock and see my friends Ben. Hopefully, we can watch some football on Sunday.
Did you do you paste fantasy football articles on your ceiling so you can read them while you're in bed and traveling? Is that what dedication you have to the craft, Roman? No wonder you're such an elite fantasy football player.
No, I don't. Actually, I didn't even watch the game last night. I just found out that the Bengals won.
I'll give you a summary. DJ Shark's probably out for the year. You think he broke his foot, but like in a bad spot. James Robinson looked good again, like James Robinson does. Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow actually made some like passes where you think they're going to be obviously very good in their future, but Urban Meyer's awful. His play calling was so bad. I mean, this run option shit they were doing was just unbelievable. They had the ball on the goal line going in after the half, right before the half. They're up 14-0, and they couldn't punch it in because they were getting cute with all the stuff. They're on like the 1.5 yard line. They should have just fucking done the Brady, run forward quarterback. I mean, Lawrence is huge. And it turns out Cincinnati did that to basically go ahead and or to tie the game. So it's just like you see that play and you're like, good God, like Urban Meyer shouldn't be coaching an NFL team.
So what happened on because we have a little bit of a matchup going on where I have Burrow in a couple leagues too, and so was there a goal line play where they called it a touchdown and then they reversed it and then Joe Mixon got a touchdown because that was a big swing.
Yes.
Was Burrow in?
That would have been his second touchdown, I think, rushing touchdown. That one was from a little farther out, but it was a weird thing because you never saw the ball. And so they just said based on where his body was, because they couldn't see the ball, that they didn't think he could have put it.
But they ruled it a touchdown first, so to overturn it must have been pretty clear.
It was actually so not clear, and he looked so far away from the goal line, like he would have had to be almost fully extended for it to actually break the plane, and they didn't have an angle on that, so they basically just said screw it. That's kind of what I got out of it.
Interesting. And
I just saw that.
Go ahead, Roman. Roman? How did Shenault look? He looked like he had a big game. Was he pretty active after Shark went down?
Yeah, I mean, Shark went down. He was good. They were trying to get Tavon Austin involved in the game, and it was just, again, RIP Urban Meyer. It's just like I saw tape on Tavon Austin 8 years ago, and this guy's going to be our new thing. He ran this fucking out route. He might be the slowest wide receiver in the history of the NFL from how fast he used to be. It was so embarrassing. So they're trying to get him involved, but it was just basically Shenault, and like they were taking away Tate pretty.
Maybe they can. Maybe it's probably pretty similar to John Ross. Then where'd that guy go?
Maybe. I mean, fuck.
What about? Do you think Jalen Camp has an opportunity now that?
Jalen Camp isn't. He's on St. Louis's practice squad.
Oh, he did. He got shifted. I didn't see where he landed.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you. I found that randomly. I'm like, oh, Jalen Camp, but that's like it's a crowded spot, but not a bad practice squad to be on. I'd rather him on that practice squad than fucking Jacksonville at this point. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's
what
crazy
a dumpster
there.
fire.
So Ben, just really quickly, it's your anniversary. For the listeners, tell us a little bit about where you got married and what you guys were doing 6 years ago. I think it's pretty fascinating.
Man, I can't. Well, I can't give a short version of that. I mean, I got
Yeah,
married.
you got as much time as you want.
I got married on a heavy metal cruise. What do you want me to say? It was called the Motorboat. It was put on by
Yes,
Motorhead.
right.
It was the last two concerts that Lemmy ever did before he died, and we had never seen Motorhead, and my wife had never seen Slayer, and I'm sure all our listeners are big metal buffs, but anyways, everyone's kind of playing on there. There was a lot of bands she'd never seen. I'd never seen Motorhead. She'd never seen Motorhead. So we were looking at it, and I just proposed to her right there because we didn't give a shit about getting married, but it was just like, hey, let's just go get married on this boat. Because eventually, you have a kid and you go out enough time, you might as well just get married. Especially for my situation and her situation, just you're talking about residency and citizenship and shit. Like you start that boat sooner than later, it just makes more sense. So I don't think it was anything we discussed because we both were like, like sorry to all the fam out there. We didn't want to deal with like fam bringing in and how many friends I have, and it was just like. So I just put out a beacon and I was just like, hey, if you like heavy metal music and want to spend 7 days on a boat blaring your ears out, feel free to come to our wedding. And we got no replies. I think people
Actually, that's not true. I was really trying to make it work on my end, but I was on welfare at the time, and I was like, can I justify spending $2,000 to go on a cruise that might actually kill me? I might not make it off the boat. So I made a very calculated decision to stay away from it, but I kind of wish at this point in my life
I will say, if you're a fan of any type of music, any specific type of music, if it's electronic or rock or whatever the hell, reggae, like they have a cruise for all of that, and there's nothing on planet Earth as awesome as doing this. Like you can go to all the festivals you want, sit with 50, 60,000 people, or you can sit there with like 500-600, watching bands in like super small places, like some of the bigger ones obviously. But like you walk around the boat, they're all on vacation. They're just like, hey, what's up? You just see everyone, everyone's cool, and everyone's like chill, and they're like, you're all kind of hanging out, and everyone's kind of there because it's their shit, and so you don't have like these, like nobody's pretentious, like everyone's super like, because I've been we went to a punk rock one too, and it was the same thing, man. Like everyone was super. The Flogging Molly one was kind of like more Irish ska stuff, but. Anyways,
there's a stick figure concert that they do at the Maya Riva in Mexico that you basically are going in and sharing that experience for like 5 days at an all-inclusive resort, and stick figure just plays reggae music with a couple of other bands, and you're interacting with them because they're just like sitting by the pool playing music and hanging out. It's like very, very limited space, but it sells out within minutes of the tickets going on sale. So
I mean, those are cool, but like, man, like you got like imagine like a cruise. You're going to different places. You do a cruise, right?
Yeah.
The only difficult thing is like there's like music from midnight till like 4 a.m. every single day. So like, and all amazing bands. Almost everyone plays twice, so you got to like figure out your schedule. You definitely got to nap a lot. I mean, especially if you're drinking heavy, it's tough. It's fun though. Can't wait for the next one. We've been on 3 of them so far.
I might have screwed up the first few minutes there. I had my dual screens going, and you remember how that sometimes doesn't record the main screen. But I fixed my mistake, so regardless, we'll hope that's better.
So they're not going to get to see Roman's show off of Costa Rica.
Well, he'll find a way to do it. He's been posturing for the last 15 minutes, trying to make sure his tattoos and the backdrop are perfect. He looks sexy. I mean, he's hungover. Nobody looks better hungover than Mr. Romaine.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm just surprised you don't have a Bloody Mary. It's like you're on vacation. You should. Oh, maybe a little Bailey's in his coffee though. Who knows?
No. I am.
I'm doing sober October, boys. Yesterday was my hoorah into a month of not drinking until Halloween. So
Okay, I started today.
yeah,
They work?
right. Sure, we'll see how that's going on Sunday.
Yeah, two Vegas trips will do that to you, Corey.
Yeah, it was Vegas. It was Vegas, and then a trip to Newport, which was I thought going to be relaxing for a week away, and it just turned into a complete shit show. As you know, I called you at 1 o'clock on a Monday by myself after I got kicked out of a bar, so that's never good. Had to cancel on Georgia because I was just not. There's no way that I could have ever saw his face and not continued to pound drinks, and then had a client meeting on Thursday, went to an Angels game. I was like, this is just not going to end well if I continue this path. So apologize to Georgia in front of everybody for flaking out on his ass, but there'll be more opportunities to hang out with him. So, yeah, anyway, so let's talk some football. Where do we want to go with this direction? We're just winging this one and wanted to talk to you guys. So what are we most excited about for week 4?
Maybe getting a win. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, right. Maybe we should start there. Maybe we should start there. We're 1-8 as a fantasy Dynasty Brothers duo, which is not surprising that I'm 0-3, but I would say that you and Roman are feeling a little less happy about where you stand this year.
I don't really mind that much. I had some tough losses, and then last week my team was hurt and shit the bed. But I am pretty upset that I made everyone who I put the words face fuck next to basically did the opposite, and they all sucked, including your boy Josh Sweat, who's always in the backfield, but he can't get the goddamn sack. Roman's
having some technical difficulties today.
Yeah, the Eagles got some issues anyways. I don't think he wants to talk about that. But
who's got the beeping going on too? There's like a beeping every 2 seconds. Is that?
Yeah, that's my Discord. That's what happens when you do NFTs. Let me close that up.
Let's mute the Discord. That's actually an exciting segue too. The fact that the NFL world is dipping into the NFTs with Dapper Labs and doing the Top Shot thing that we've all kind of invested in. So I'm excited to see where that goes. I mean, obviously,
yeah, we should throw that link up in the. I'll throw that link up in the BC chat because that's something everyone should probably get on. If you can it'll lottery who gets early adoption, and everyone who got early adoption and Top Shot are fucking millionaires now. It probably won't be that straightforward, but I think Dapper Labs finally figured out NBA Top Shot. I don't know if you've seen Corey, but it's
I've been in it. It looks great.
I mean, I got one of those fucking WNBA fucking run it back packs, and I thought it was just gonna be a fucking lame fuck around, and like the card I pulled was like $500, and it was like $79.
I tried. I tried to get in. I was like 35,000 in the in line, so it sucked. But
yeah.
I mean, the first pack I got from the WNBA was extremely profitable. I mean, I quadrupled my investment on it. So it's
crazy. I just never would have thought about it, but all you needed to look at is how many they were minting, right?
Right.
Because they weren't making very much of each player, and that's essentially what drives the market on the value. NFL would be nuts because I don't know how fast they're going to want to go into it, because if they go out and start, putting out packs where you can only get like 100 of a player, like those holograms and stuff, I mean, you'll have like
special moments is what it's saying, right?
Well, they're already posting on like Twitter and stuff, like which one of these moments from last week would you make, into a NBA, or NFL moment. And then you start looking at it in that way, and it's like so much more exciting than even the NBA ones, right? The NBA ones are like, okay, cool, like an assist, and then there's some cool dunks and this and that, but NFL is all explosive plays, so it's just it's like the one play where on the Jags where they miss kick and they take it to the house, and it's just like,
thinking about getting Tucker's field goal.
Yeah, man, that's like historic. Like it's fucking it's a record, I
don't care how many of them are made. Like if there's less than 15,000, that card's got to be worth, or that moment has to be worth $500.
Yeah, what's crazy is they're probably much closer than we actually would want to think, which means I don't think they'll have a closed alpha or anything like that, or closed beta like very long if they do, because like if they're already talking about doing moments for this year, like they're already collecting moments for this year, I mean, they might release it like post Super Bowl, because then they can keep more hype all the way up to the draft.
Good point.
New draft, and then they can make it fucking year round. It's just like, I'll let the season do its thing, and then probably February all of a sudden.
It said later this year, what in the article I read. So that's still 2021.
I think, like I said, I think it's going to be a closed beta but I don't think they'll do it for more than a month or two. I mean, before they did the closed beta for 4 months or 5 months, I think, before they let public in, maybe even less. 4 months.
Can we talk about that play for a second? Like the Ravens were in fourth and 19.
Yeah.
In their own 30. And thus they converted that play. And then what happened? And you said, Ben, like that he threw the ball to Lamar Jackson on the next play.
He threw the ball away.
Time, right? Yeah, he threw the ball away. I mean,
yeah,
I was paying attention.
So I'll tell you why.
I was paying attention because the guy I was playing against had a Baltimore kicker. And I couldn't believe it. I said, I can't believe what's going on. And the way he kicked it and the way he made it, I mean, it was just sick.
For Detroit fans.
Hey Roman, can you find a spot and just sit there where the internet's good, because we're losing you, and I can't really. We're getting like every other word, where I am at least, because you're walking around in a jungle, it looks like, and I don't know if the Wi-Fi.
Maybe, yeah, maybe I should just get in the pool.
Maybe you should just
right here.
just don't say anything. Take your shirt off and just look good. How about that?
That's right.
Well, there's been a couple of those situations, the Rodgers one and the Ravens, where it's like, how do you get to a point in a football game where you give Aaron Rodgers 37 seconds and not understand that you don't need to score quickly? I mean, obviously they need to score, but like, and then also like, what kind of defense are we setting up where we're allowing Devontae Adams to run across the middle of the field? 40. I mean, just like it's gross to me. I don't understand how that happened. What's that?
Soft ass dime shit. Soft ass dime shit. The Detroit did it, and so did San Fran, and it's just like this pussy ass shit that the Vikings did for fucking decades. Now, like Zimmer actually finally doesn't do it as much anymore, but it's just like, oh, I'm gonna protect this lead, and I'm gonna fucking run this prevent, and like you give a really good quarterback a prevent, it's over. And like Lamar is not even a really good quarterback, but like, oh, okay, like I just need to sit here and I don't have a guy within fucking 10 yards of me. Like, yeah, okay.
What about the fact that they're kicking off into the end zone and getting a touchback and not letting 4 or 5 seconds run off? Like, and that, I mean, like, that's just bad coaching as well, right?
Well,
like,
first of all, unless Shanahan said that, the special teams coach needs to be under fire and maybe get fired.
It should be a squib kick. It's got to be a squib kick.
If whoever made that decision needs to be under scrutiny. That's fucking insane. You have to take time off the clock.
100%. I mean, that 4 seconds is basically where, that allows them to, an extra play or whatever to go up there and spike the ball. Otherwise, they're at 31 seconds probably, and that's a big difference. I mean, that 6 seconds is a big deal.
I thought one of the smartest things that happened in those things, Aaron Rodgers just did Aaron Rodgers shit, and like I wasn't surprised. I'm sure some people might have been, but as soon as they saw 37 seconds on the clock and they just gave him the whole thing, and I'm like, this game's over. Aaron Rodgers, his entire career, doesn't lose these games ever. Trust anyone in the NFC North, right, Courtney? We know.
Yep.
The thing is based on the situation. Like the times left on the clock. So, the defense going to cover a big play. So, of course, they allow short passes. So the running back or slot receiver can make the catch and go out and stop the clock. So, I think it's just if you would give 1 minute to any top quarterback to be in a field goal position at the very beginning of the game, they probably wouldn't make it.
Yeah.
But it's because, they don't want to lose the game. They don't want to allow the big play because they know that it's going to kill them. So it makes it easier for a good quarterback to get
Yeah, but like why not send a safety or someone like on a blitz, like to make him get rid of the ball quicker or something. Like, it's just letting him sit back there and diagnose and then throw, bombs over top of middle linebackers that are drifting backwards and just, okay, well, that was a 35, 40-yard chunk play that they got right off the bat. Then they're in business right away then. It's like, okay, I can get another 15, 20 yards. So it's just gross to me.
But hold on, I want to say one thing that I thought was I'm going to credit Harbaugh. I'm imagine either the offensive coordinator or him made this decision when they had 8 seconds left or whatever, and they ran another play, and the play was a clear throwing out of bounds play. But the reason that was so smart was because you got to attempt a record-long field goal. You have to get your units got to be there ready on standby, and you give them a whole full play clock, right? So if they complete that and they're like, fuck it, let's cut it or whatever, and they didn't even try and complete that pass. It's just like, throw it away. Now we have the whole play clock to set
35 seconds,
we're not going to fuck it up. And that was really smart because some coaches probably just trot him out there right now and say, let's just take the chance. We're not going to run a play, or, maybe try and run a play there, which would have been really dumb too. Right. Because
was there timeout left on the other side of the ball, on Detroit's side?
No.
They didn't ice him. That's the other thing. I mean, they didn't ice him. They let him run out there, take a couple of hop steps, get set up, and he was amped, man. You could just tell by the way he was like.
If you would want to ice a guy just running out to do a 66-yard field goal.
Yeah.
But it's kind of counterintuitive in some ways. Like we're saying, it's a 40, 45, and you get in his head, but you want them in a rush position trying to make a game-winning field goal for a record. I'm like, you don't want to let Tucker walk around and think about it. Fuck that, dude.
He fucking put that shit right down the middle. Right down. He split it from 66. And he took that crow hop too. He's just a nasty individual, man. I would not want to play that guy in any sort of muscle memory game whatsoever. Ping pong, bags, pool. You name it, that dude has to be legendary because he's just a machine. Just really, really cool to watch.
In a weird way, he deserves the record. He's made probably more clutch over 50 to 60 yard winning kicks in his fucking career than anyone.
He's the most accurate kicker in NFL history too.
Outside of maybe Vinatieri, right? But Vinatieri didn't have a super long leg. I mean, this guy fucking bangs 55 yarders in his sleep.
I think I heard a stat in the fourth quarter, winning field goal is 16 out of 16.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. He never seems to miss. I mean, I think I remember 2 misses that are 40 yarders, and it's just and they're not in game time, game winning situations. I remember
missing one in the playoffs though. Maybe that was to ice.
But I don't think it was a game winner.
Or ice a game or something.
He very rarely misses under pressure, if at all. Pretty insane. So what are we looking forward to this week? Obviously, the big game is the Sunday night football game with Brady and the Pats. I don't even think it's going to be close, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that's going to be a dominant performance by Tampa Bay.
Can I just say,
Bill Belichick Super Bowl, bro?
You have your agenda, but I'm sorry. I just want to make a comment about the last Monday night game.
Okay.
So it crushed me. The Eagles got destroyed.
Oh yeah.
I have to admit it. I kind of knew it was gonna happen, but I was hoping it was. I was hoping the Eagles would be able to contend, but they obviously did not. But the thing that bothered me the most about that game is the Eagles coaching. When you have a guy like Miles Sanders on your team, and he gets 2 carries for 27 yards, and you're down by 21 at the end of the third quarter. And the weird thing is, it's not even comedy because there was no other guy.
It was 6 runs, right? Six rushes.
At that point, there was no other running back that had a carry. You can say, "Oh yeah, Miles Sanders is underused."
No, Hurts had 4 and Sanders had 2, and no team wins with that formula ever.
I mean, it's just really, really, really bad. And
you're not helping Jalen Hurts out at all, making him drop back and try to play catch up right away. I mean, the first 2 possessions are kind of strange, right? He threw the interception. They were actually moving the ball pretty good. He threw the interception. Then Dallas came back and scored right away, just annihilated them. And then they got the weird kind of tie up after another 3 and out. And so you're like, you haven't done anything on offense. We're through the first quarter. It's 7-7. So you feel pretty good about yourself. At that point, you got to establish the run. You gotta, you have a long sustained drive where you're getting first downs. Otherwise, the offense is going to continually, be up the throat of the Philly defense because they're going to be tired. Like it was. You're right. It was bad coaching and bad play calling.
I've been watching a lot of games, and I can recall a lot of games when teams are down by 14 or 21, and they start running the ball. And then they control the clock, and then the defense get tired, and then the moment switches, and you eventually you put yourself in a position to win the game with a field goal, or you make a play on defense. I think they were just playing the Cowboys.
Yeah, it seemed like they were kind of playing the Cowboys script, right? They were trying to play catch up with them and play them in their game, and it's like that's not gonna win. And you're right; they probably could have, had one long sustained drive, got it to 21-14, then got a 3 and out, then put more pressure on the defense because they had a long sustained drive. But they did, to me, as a non-biased watcher of that game, there was clearly a difference between the two teams.
Roman's in Costa Rica paradise Wi-Fi hell.
Yeah, we can't hear Roman. Maybe try cutting your video. We love seeing your face, but we cannot hear a damn word you're saying. So maybe the video is just you don't have enough Wi-Fi to connect you. I'd rather hear you than be able to. Now? Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So yeah, very disappointed. Tough loss.
Do you think Hurts is still has a chance, or how do you feel about Hurts?
The Cowboys. No, I said it last year when he played the 4 games. I said I don't think he's the future of the team. I think he's an average quarterback, probably a backup long term. But that's fine. I think we should rather lose this year because next year they have 3 first round. So maybe we get a good quarterback next year.
I think he bounces back this week. To be honest with you, I think he has a good week this week. But
they play calling like that.
Yeah,
they play the Chiefs.
Well, he's gonna have to open it up even more. Probably to keep up with the Chiefs. I think fantasy-wise, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna score points, but
the Chiefs' defense is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, Chiefs are shit on defense, so I think anybody can have a good fantasy game against them. All right, moving forward, then, let's talk a little bit about the featured game of the week. Ben, you think it's gonna be closer than I do, huh? So what's the spread? 7.5?
Yeah, and you think it's gonna be a blowout?
I don't know. I think Tampa Bay is a much better team. I think how do the Patriots keep up with the Buccaneers from an offensive standpoint? Like, they have to be able to run the football, right? And if they get down, it's going to be extremely difficult to catch up.
I think you're looking at it all wrong, Corey. You're looking at fucking personnel and talent and who's got the better team. And the fact of the matter is, fucking who's got the better coach. And quite frankly, Belichick owns Arians. So there's that. Brady, he knows Brady's tendencies. So there's that. He knows what Brady doesn't want to be in positionally as far as getting rushed at certain ways. So there's that. And they had a really down year, but they haven't looked that bad this year. So I don't know. They'll probably run the rock like a motherfucker, try and control, and they'll probably give them some problems on defense. They scheme plan really well, man. They really, really plan well, especially when it comes to a play coordinator that they know they can get in their head, and B, somebody they know as much as Brady. Now, that being said, I don't know if Brady's, knows the defense enough to do that in the reverse, but I would say there's no way that the Patriots are going to give them a defensive look that Brady is expecting, because that's what Bill Belichick does for a living as a coach. He doesn't give you his vanilla scheme. And on that note, what I read was on an article was Cliff Kingsbury. It's not Cliff Kingsbury. Our offensive coordinator for Vikings is getting a lot of praise because we are completely changing our offensive scheme to the defense that we prepare for, which is usually a super dangerous thing if you have a good coach who makes good adjustments. So we'll see how the Vikings end up doing with that. But that's like bread and butter, like Bill Belichick. He's going to give you he's going to give Brady a defense he's not expecting. And so I don't think it's like as cut and clear a blowout, even though clearly there is a better team here. I think it's just going to be, if you're going to see a game, we haven't seen Brady struggle in a game yet. It's been 3 games. He's been like godly. So, that doesn't happen all the year. He has struggles in certain situations and certain games. And I think this will be one of them. They might actually lose it. I like the Patriots money line.
Patriots money line, really interesting.
Yeah.
So the spread's Patriots -7, and the over under is 49. So I like the two-way teaser on that of under 55 and the Buccaneers at -1. But we'll see. I don't think Brady loses that game going back there. I think he'll be super dialed in. I don't think it's going to be it's not going to be super high scoring because I think you're right. Patriots have to control the rock. They're not going to give up on the run. If they get down early, they're still going to run the ball at least for the first half, and then we'll see what happens in the second half. But if they can keep it close, get some defensive stops, get a special teams touchdown or something like that, and that the Patriots are going to be amped too, and they don't want to lose that game to Brady for sure.
Yeah, and like Bill Belichick's not going to be a pussy like the rest of these guys, where it's just like you have a first quarter where you're not getting optimal runs because they have a great defense. Like Belichick's going to run it down their throat and wear those fuckers out so they can't rush the passer. Like he's just so superior on preparation. Like I can't see him. Like you see what these guys have been doing against the Bucs, and it's just like, okay, oh man, look at the guys in the middle, Vita Vea and fucking and like, oh, we can't run the ball, and then they start just fucking throwing the rock and getting destroyed on the fucking pass rush. You got to wear a team like that down. If you don't wear a team like that down and slow them down a step, you're fucking dead in the water. They're too fast on defense. They've been fast for a couple of years now. So I really like. I wouldn't. This is not chalking it up to the better team. It's just Belichick is going to bring his A game. I think Brady will too, but it's just going to be. I think it's going to be an uphill battle for Brady because he's just going to have to figure out some new shit. Now, can he do it? Of course, he's seen kind of everything because he's played for 250 years. But I think it's just going to be closer than people think. I hear the narrative of like it's going to be a blowout. I'm like, that's a trap game against the Patriots. They fucking always somehow win those games where they just look like they should get their ass kicked.
Yeah, I don't think he can. I mean, you can't even blitz Brady at this point. I mean, he's too good. He has too many weapons to just, and see it. So he might even just drop back, play coverage football, make them run the football, right? And keep it low scoring that way. Like I think it actually could be a big probably a Fournette or Ronald Jones game. They might have to just take away the pass and keep two safeties deep and not blitz and not give up any big plays and then run the football on offense, keep it low scoring, and then let it come down to the fourth quarter and see if they can get, keep it close and have something miraculous happen. But it'll be interesting.
I think if the Bucs commit to the run, they'll probably do themselves a service, but I just don't see them probably doing it because it's like, there's too much. Unless Brady says, fuck the ego, I don't care, let's win the game. But I could just see that, like, okay, let's just give it to Brady, put it in his hands. He knows he said, like, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be a real chess match. I think it's going to be a better game than I think people think.
Well, the safeties and corners have all been in the Patriot system, and guess who they played against for many years as, going head-to-head in practice. So they know his mannerisms, his, little twitches, all that stuff. And so it'll be interesting to see, it's kind of like a chess match, obviously, how Brady's going to use that to his advantage and try to throw them off. And it's almost like trying to think 3 steps ahead of people that know you pretty well, right? And so it'll be exciting to watch just from a football standpoint. And I'm excited to watch that game. Roman, are you still there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. What go ahead.
I'm listening carefully.
Okay. What else? What else you guys want to talk about? Do you want to talk a little bit about this Wayne situation? I'm actually curious to hear about what happens and what kind of predicament he's in as far as keeping his team within the salary cap as soon as Jarvis Landry comes back. Actually, we were all in agreement that we thought Wayne made a pretty good trade. Seemed like he got a couple starters, gave up Henry, obviously. Zeke on a 1-year deal. He's got two wins this year, 1 loss, not scoring a ton of points. Gives him some more firepower. But in your situation, what you guys seen? It's going to be very, very difficult to me, from my standpoint, for him to move that cap and get it back under without any draft picks or any young valuable players. But what are you guys?
Man, probably not. I mean, it's hard, but like, look what happened. Week 3 finished and fucking half the league's fucking tanking. It's like insane. It's like, that's these trades, these dumps, and these fucking panics are fucking out of control. And Moose is probably doing the opposite. He's probably scoring too many points, so he's trying to get away with as many fucking players as he possibly can because he's trying to get in that lottery.
He got the AJ Brown deal too. So I mean, like, he's making moves that are better for his long-term future. I mean, getting AJ Brown for a 1 through 5 draft pick seemed like a complete steal from him.
It was fucking free. That was such a good trade. Holy shit.
So let's talk about the Wayne situation. You think because of injuries and people tanking that he'll be able to move that cap somehow, some way, and get him back under?
I mean, we'll see. Like, never say never. He could get a guy on IR and lose more cap, like, fuck, look how many people have cap right now. Like,
That's true.
Everybody. Fucking people are dropping like flies, especially the really expensive ones, right? So, that's kind of why I think maybe it was Georgia, somebody brought up, if you ride to the max of the cap, you start getting through the season, man, more than likely you're going to get a couple guys on IR. You're getting some cap back. You get some flexibility. Doesn't always happen. And it's not like a waiver wire sitting there where it's like completely open for you. So, things like, I don't know. I think it's interesting because I think 3 weeks in, it's just like, I really don't know why people completely implode. I guess I'll remember that's when the best deals are, and I'll make sure I have the most assets for that because I want AJ Brown for 2 late first round picks for, Josh Palmer and some other fucking guy that was taken there. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like a Freiermuth and Josh Palmer for AJ Brown. And
for
AJ
a couple
Brown,
it's just like
backup linebackers.
When you think about that, and like, I mean, the teams that, the picks he got, those teams are fucking good, and don't look like they're going to get slowed down. So I always look at that. I don't know how many people look at that. We're talking to Bauer a lot of that. He just keeps saying first round pick. I'm like, in a 32 team league, a first round pick is not a first round pick. A first round pick is an elite first round pick if the team is shitty, and it's like a second round pick where you are going to like maybe get a starter or a good prospect if it's in a good team. So you got to put it that way. If you're in a 16-team league, it's a first-round pick or it's a second-round pick, right?
Well, look at who was taken. Just one example. Amari Rodgers was taken 118, I think, this last year, somewhere around there. Like, and he's not even playing. So it's like
Amari
a first-round pick
and fucking Josh Palmer for AJ Brown. Like, if you look at it that way, it's just like that's probably why you should accumulate this many fucking draft picks like Moose did. It's just like, holy shit, if someone's just going to be like, I'm rebuilding, fuck this, like, I'm out. And you're like, oh, I just gave you my 2 shittiest first round picks for AJ Brown, who is still good at football from last I heard.
It's been a weird season in Tennessee, to be honest with you. I haven't quite understood what's going on there. I mean, if you would have picked one team to be the most surprised at to this point this year, I would say Tennessee has been the most disappointing and the most surprising bad start. Yeah,
Tannehill doesn't look very good, and they're not being creative. I think they're just running a fuck ton of 2 wides, unless they have to, which is fine. But
so let's talk about the Wayne deal then in general. Like, giving up Henry, getting Zeke. Zeke looked really good against the Eagles. Go ahead.
I want to say something about the Wayne situation. But just before that, to answer Ben, I think it's very silly to start selling when you go 1-2 or 0-3. I think last year in CK I was 1-5, and I won the league. So I think there is always a way to turn the corner. And then, well, there is a point where you have to sell to get the better value for your players if you think you're not going to make the playoff. But there is always a chance. Don't quit. Keep trying, and then sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. But it's part of the game. Regarding the Wayne situation, I'm a little bit upset. I don't care about the moves that he makes. I think everyone's been concerned since he joined the league if he's able to manage his team properly, because he keeps trading players just for the sake of trading. I don't think his team got any better with the years. He has no draft picks. Now he's in cap hell. He's sending me offers, $250 Zeke on a 1-year deal for Kamara on a 4-year deal, $100 when I have $9 left on my cap. I mean, I don't like it. It pisses me off. And on top of that, I have to pay $25 for him to stay in the league. And I don't like it.
I think Wayne actually paid his dues, but it's. I mean, I'm not going to get into any personal stuff. I just want to keep it fantasy-wise. But
I think it's annoying when someone sends you an offer where there is $150 difference, and you don't have the cap. Why are you signing it?
But yeah, there's a lot of offers that are sent out that are just god awful.
I will say exactly what I think Roman's saying. Like, just don't send offers to send a fucking offer. If you want to send an offer like that and say, hey, this is a starting point, let's see where we can go, okay, that's cool. But if you're just going to say, here, let's do this deal straight up, and you didn't notice I don't have near the fucking cap to even make this work, that means, like, you're not respecting my time on even, like, now you're making me work at some fucking counter to make some it's like, fuck that, man. Make a fucking trade that works.
Yeah.
Make one that I can fucking play. I get that all the time. It's like, here's a 4-for-1. And it's like,
I'd have to cut 3 players.
Like, what do you want me to do? I don't have roster spots. So, like, I'm not the guy you offer this for. And so it's one thing if you're just going to offer the same shit to everyone in the league, but, like, when you're getting very specific like that, like, I think word of advice, if you don't want to piss off the guy you're trading with, like, do a little due diligence on if the trade can actually happen or not. And I think that's what Ron's pissed about. I get those, and I don't like them either. And I think people should just, like, I try, and it might be detrimental to me doing this, but I try and get a guy in a centerpiece, and then I make sure the cap works. And a lot of times the deals blow up because they're like, well, I don't like this guy and this guy and this guy. I mean, if you want to have 2 focal pieces that have very different caps, you say, hey, can we make this work if we can figure out the cap? And then maybe there you have a conversation. But if you're just like, hey, accept this, and you're like, I can't, even if I wanted to. And now, like, I don't even have guys to give you back. And, like, so you don't even, like, if you didn't even see if you have a trade partner. Roman doesn't even have guys to give back. You can't even get the cap back. So, like, at that point, what are you going to, like, you're now just filling an inbox of spam. And nobody likes that.
I think there's 2 points there. You never, in any sort of sales endeavor, you never want to waste anybody's time and or not bring value or make a yes decision difficult to make, right? Like, you need to set it up to where it's very easy for someone to look at it, it makes sense, at least analyze it and give a counter, right? If you're not doing that and putting the work in, then fucking, refrain from sending stupid ass offers, right? Like, understand what the person's needs are, try to create a relationship that's a win-win and create long-term trade partners. There's people that send me trades right now that within 5 seconds of seeing their name that comes into my inbox, I know it's shit. I know they haven't listened to anything I've said or requested, and that they start overselling me. Oh, this is why you should do this. Like, I'm the fucking GM of my own team. I know what I should and should not do from my perspective. You don't need to fucking sell me on fucking why this is a good decision for me, right? Like, I just, that's the other pet peeve that I really dislike. Like, oh, this is really good for you because of X, Y, Z, 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 A, B, C. Like, shut the fuck up. Stop. Just stop.
I'm okay with that.
No, I'm not. So that's fine. We're different in that regards. Don't waste my time and don't fucking sell me on why this is a good decision for my team when you know it's fucking complete bullshit. So in any regards, maybe I don't. Maybe I'm not a great GM. That's fine. I still don't need your fucking opinion. to tell me what
That's
would
fine. I'm
make
just
me
telling
better.
you, Corey, it's a little less egregious than say sending something that I have to look at, and it's like, well, that doesn't work no matter what. And now I have to study my roster to see if we can do it. It's just like, man, like, unless you're going to, like, there's a comment section, gents. Fucking use it. Send out a trade.
I agree.
Say, hey, I want this guy. I have this guy as my best asset. Are you interested in trying to find something that makes it work? Reply. Sure. Send a counter offer. Send me something legit. Okay. Because like I probably should do that sometimes because then all of a sudden I have a 5-for-5 trade just to make cap work and the guy doesn't know what the fuck I'm trying to do.
But there's also a comment section within our system called manage trade bait, right? And you spend time putting people in there and saying what you're looking for in return. So if I say not willing to move anybody other than these players, I only want to move these players for draft picks. Don't send me fucking an offer that includes a 1-year guy that's a complete waste of my time to get my best 1-year guy, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, don't send me a guy on IR to take Jamal Williams with no fucking trade, with no draft capital involved. Like, what? Why would I do that? There's no other assets being traded. Don't send me fucking the running back from the Patriots that's out for the season on a 1-year contract for Jamal Williams, and fucking don't give me something that's enticing me to make that trade back. Like it's a stupid fucking offer. There's no point to it.
You know what the worst part? Actually, based on the last 3 weeks, I actually kind of like Zeke more than Kamara right now. So I would eventually consider moving Kamara to win
on a 1-year deal, though. Like
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Maybe if you're not 0-3, or 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to win now, sometimes you make moves that you would not do if you're in you rebuilding or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I think Zeke looks better than Kamara for now, in my opinion.
Well, everybody's different. I appreciate your guys' input. I think it's interesting to have these trade kind of conversations and dialogues to figure out what everybody's interested in. I just think we have tools, use them, try to be valuable, and understand that people have a finite amount of time in order to
But Corey, it happens all the time. And this year,
sometimes people don't look at trade bait and stuff like that. I mean, that's...
Now, also, when someone makes a trade in this league, most of the time you have the other half of the league saying, oh, it was a good trade. Oh, it was a bad trade. I mean, it's based on what you are trying to accomplish, how you feel about the player, if you like it better than someone else. I mean, there's a lot of factors. Sometimes it's based on contracts because you want to rebuild and long-term. So like myself right now, I'm 1-2, but I'm trying to win now. So anything you offer me that makes my team better this week, I'm gonna look at it, and because I'm trying to win next week. Yeah, I'm trying to make the playoff. So I don't I don't really care about how long the contract is, blah 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 blah. If that makes my team better, does that make sense?
No, I do. I think it makes perfect sense. So
I'm gonna take advantage. Like, because I'm not an idiot and I know the value of the contract. So if I have a guy who has a long-term contract, like for instance, Kamara is on $100 deal, 4 years. So he's valuable. So I'm not going to get only Zeke on 1-year deal for Kamara.
Right.
I would.
You need other pieces.
I would get like 4 or 5 guys that actually can start, and makes my team better week 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that trade doesn't make sense for 2 people trying to compete. That's the thing. Right now, what you probably should be doing is trying to find people who are more opposite of what you're trying to do. Now, to Corey, I'm going to use a different example, and I won't use a real example. But what you just brought up, not giving compensation, sometimes or giving some compensation in that deal you're talking about, there is such a thing as a race to the bottom at one point. And the more possible points scored you have on your team, the more fucking detrimental it is to you. So at some point you want to get rid of assets, right? So you're going to want to I don't want this guy scoring points on my team on a 1-year deal, because if I trade him off, I get less points and then I can get that lottery you know, because you want to get in the top 8 in the lottery, and it's a race to that top 8. Once you know you're fucking out, if you have your own draft pick.
Yeah,
So
my biggest regret is getting rid of my first round draft pick. I mean, that it just really puts me in a tough position to, you know, to have a strategy for this year, like to get a player that can really help me out next year. So that's something that I learned. Like, even though I picked up, you know, a couple players that I think will be decent long term assets, it for me that's a mistake, and that's something that I won't be doing again in the future if you're in my situation, which is not a win now situation.
Well,
So,
my point was more like, don't be so shocked on those types of deals, because sometimes it makes sense. You see players, it's like, oh, these guys are dumping players, but it's just like, oh, okay, take this IR guy back. I get rid of this guy. Obviously, you probably should get some pick back, but like a lot of the point is just like, hey, this guy's gonna be, I can't keep him next year, and all he's doing is scoring points that I don't want. And so you're gonna see a lot of teams that start to do that type of behavior. I didn't expect that till week 5 or 6. It's happening like week 3, which is fucking crazy.
yeah.
But you know, I think people are more and more trying to get ahead of that race to the bottom to the 8. Georgia, I'm sure, is rolling in his fucking grave right now, as he should. But you know, that is what it is. I mean, people know I got my own draft pick. Time to get fucking busy getting to the bottom, you know. And if it happens early, it happens early, because it's just harder to do now.
And not to mention, it happens in the NFL as well. So it's not. This isn't a concept that doesn't exist in reality.
I don't think you should look at wins or losses. I think you should look at points scored. It is the most important
possible points
data that in these leagues. Yeah, because I mean, I'm 1-2, but I'm top 8 team scoring, so I probably can make the playoff with a losing record. And then if you are rebuilding, like Ben said, that you want to score as less as you can.
I don't think I have to worry about scoring a lot of points regardless of who I put in my lineup. So I'm in pretty good shape there. But I'm just disappointed I don't have my first round draft pick, and that was a bad move on my part. Let's talk a little bit more specific about some players, just in general. We're almost 4 weeks in. There's pretty good sample size. Who are we most disappointed with at the running back position, with notwithstanding injury? I don't really care. You can't control injuries, but who's been the most disappointing running back so far to date, and who's been the most exciting running back so far to date?
Jonathan Taylor.
Most disappointing? That was the name that came to him, or Gibson came to mind for me.
Gibson hasn't been terrible.
I think a lot of people are expecting more from a receiving point of view for Gibson, and you know, I can't recall how many receptions he has, but I know last week he had like one that went for 70 yards. So maybe like try to get the guy a ball more.
Miles Sanders should be at the top of that.
Miles Sanders is definitely he's definitely up there. But I wasn't expecting a lot from him this year, but Roman was, so I guess I don't know. Taylor's probably been the most, yeah.
Any fucking 49ers running back that you invested in whatsoever?
Trey Sermon has to be really far up that list as far as long-term prospect and
but
he's getting fucking work now. He's getting the work now, so he's got opportunity at least.
We'll see if he gets the work this week. If he doesn't get work this week,
Speaking about Sanders, it's just he just didn't get the carries. It's not that he doesn't look good. I mean, actually, it did look pretty good every time he got the ball.
Yeah, Javonte Williams isn't getting the carries either. You know, they're like fucking.
He's been a pretty good split, but he had 13 carries last week and had 4 goal line carries. So I mean, I don't think that's actually too bad for a rookie running back. I'll take 13 touches a week out of a rookie running back. I mean, he fumbled, which is not good, and we'll see what happens. I think Gordon's a little bit banged up, so at any point, if Gordon suffers an injury, I think Javonte Williams has to be in the top 3 conversation as far as draft capital from last year's draft.
You know who's running back I would like to have in any of my teams? King Henry. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What a fucking animal.
I think he's got a few more years left in the tank.
Did you see the week 2?
So big.
They were down by, 14, 17. He just carried the whole team.
Ran the ball.
Yeah, I just ran the ball.
Running the ball because fucking they can't even pass as many fucking yards as he can.
Can you imagine hitting that guy in the third quarter though? Like repeatedly? Like one safety comes up and is like, I'll give it a whirl this time.
6'2", 185 or some shit, dude. It's gotta hurt so bad.
It can't feel good. I mean,
he never gets hurt.
And it's just like you gotta have 4 people that hit him at the same time.
Did you see the play on Leonard? The the inside linebacker.
Oh yeah.
You make him
fucking
look
animal.
like a child.
So who's been the most exciting then running back as far as where you thought? I mean, that's a little bit tougher one, other than Henry.
Man, a lot of disappointment. Probably shouldn't be taking running back so high.
Maybe that's the conversation I'm trying to allude to here. Maybe building a team with 5 solid wide receivers that are going to get you 15 to 17 points a week might be
I don't know. I see a lot of Bills like that. They're not doing well.
I think Cook looks amazing.
Yeah, so did Madison though. Cook's a stud.
Great. That was our play calling. That was the best play calling I've seen in 10 years, maybe, with the Vikings. I'm telling you, that was the best game Kirk played that I remember. But that was the best play calling I remember. And if we get more, and last week was really good too. So if we get more of that, man, like if we're calling, then reading up on it, like I said, it's like we're scheming to their defense. So obviously we're getting these easy third down conversions and stuff, and we're able to run the ball down their fucking face. Pretty good.
I think we're missing one. We're missing one name out of the running back class, and that's Mr. Najee Harris, who had fucking 14 receptions last week. I think.
Yeah, I mean that's like let's just pump the brakes a little because. I mean, I just their offensive line was our problem, but yeah, he's going to catch a lot of balls. Like this is Le'Veon Bell fucking volume, so I kind of thought that was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to be a question whether or not Najee Harris was going to be leading rookie backs, and then his ADP was way the fuck up there, so he's probably delivering what he was costing. McCaffrey's done now, right? So that's a bust, and then you have.
Is he done?
I think he's hurt for a while, man.
What I'm reading is that McCaffrey is not even going on short-term IR.
Oh, okay. I mean,
no, he's supposed to miss. He's supposed to miss one more week, from what I understand.
All right. Well,
but I don't trust hamstring injuries whatsoever, especially in those high demand.
I mean,
plays.
James Robinson would be at the top of the disappointment list until last night.
Well, last week too, he was actually pretty decent. He got the ball. I mean,
no, well, last night he was really good. Really fucking good. And
they didn't activate Carlos Hyde either. He was a healthy scratch.
No. It came out at the game that he had something like show up like.
Okay. I thought I read he was
a hip or something came up that wasn't that they announced like in the game, like right before it started. So it wasn't a healthy scratch, which is super disappointing because that obviously means that Urban Meyer's dumb fuck ass obviously is going to want to run him 60% of the snaps when like the fact he's toting out there fucking his like love child from the heyday and then fucking having Austin, he's trying to run gimmick plays for him. You can tell he can't beat anyone. He could never beat anyone in a pass. They ran here's the best part, Corey. They ran the same play back to back. The first time they ran it with Austin, and it was just like he couldn't even fucking get to the ball. Like Trevor threw it out and he's like, he couldn't even get separation. Ran the same play for Chenault, the next one, and he had like 2 yards of separation and caught it for a first down. The same fucking play. And it's like,
that's crazy.
Why are you even entertaining the thought that you can bring these old fuckers back from the dead?
He's like it's like the Quentin Tarantino strategy where he always gets the old actors and turns them back into stars, so maybe that's what he was thinking. Maybe he's a Quentin Tarantino fan.
Go fucking take that USC job, son, right now.
I don't know. I think we're wasting too much time talking about Urban Meyer.
Take that USC job. Get the fuck out of Jacksonville. Let Trevor Lawrence fucking have somebody who's worth his time.
Roman, let me ask you this. Would you rather have Jamar Chase or Rondale Moore right now?
Chase.
So that discussion's now put to bed, correct?
I think so.
Yes, it is.
And
that wasn't on a pod. That was like on our one of our chats.
All right, let's get a little bit more difficult here. Would you rather have Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle?
Smith. Waddle. But I haven't changed
Waddle had 14 targets last week.
No, I'd still take Smith.
You'd take Devontae Smith still?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. To me, he looked like, in watching him pretty closely in that Dallas game, he's getting less separation, obviously, than he did in college, and he doesn't seem to have the size to make contested catches. But I don't know. I think
And
he's
I like Waddle
gonna figure
too,
it
but
out. I think I'd rather have Waddle. It's tough. It's a tough call.
I'd rather have neither. Their fucking offenses are fucking dumpster fires.
Let me ask you another question. Do you think that the Micah Parsons pick as a running a linebacker in round one was smart?
Okay, stop with the smart. Okay, that's not what we're talking about here. If Micah Parsons gets turned to defensive end, that was the biggest steal of the draft.
Well, it looked like to me that that's where he was lining up the majority of the time.
That's
Now,
where
whether or
he's
not they
lining up.
recognize,
He lined up like 70% of snaps in the defense.
You're saying getting labeled that way within the system.
Well, once you get labeled that way and you start getting sacks, you're a fucking wildebeest. So and he's an animal, dude. They can't fucking stop him. He's so fast. He gets off. He's got moves. I think
He got
should
hurt
be
on
a
Monday
DM.
though.
A little bit, yeah.
But
Well,
he's
my
the
point
only
is-
rookie linebacker that's really performing to that level, right? Like Phillips or Collins and Davis aren't really performing at that level, right? So that's 1 out of 3. If you took Parsons, you're good.
Phillips is a DN.
I'm sorry. Who were the top 3 linebackers? It was Jamin Davis. It was Parsons, and then the third one was the kid from Collins, right? So Collins and Davis haven't been performing, right?
I already ran a vanity. You obviously didn't hear me talk about it, but obviously I ran it about fucking when I got on this podcast shit-faced. I definitely ran it about fucking these guys not using first-round draft capital, using fucking top capital on fucking players and not using them. Use a first-round pick on a fucking linebacker and give
Not playing.
5% snaps. You should be fired. The GM.
But is that because
he's?
he's not? I mean, it's a bad draft pick though, or I mean, because they're not doing it on purpose because he's.
Then you should be fired
better.
anyway. If it's a bad fucking draft pick, it's
There you go.
consensus. You should be fired anyways. Jamin Davis is not fucking playing, and they're playing shitty linebackers instead of him.
Right.
You fucking joking me? Like Cole Holcomb's all right, but like John Bostic, you're fucking losing. Your defense sucks, and you're putting him in 35% of snaps, and you use a first-round draft pick on him. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
Yeah,
so
I hear you.
that's either on fucking Rivera, and he needs to fucking reap it, or it's on the GM who fucking definitely should have taken somebody else. Everyone who took a fucking middle linebacker and didn't fucking play him, it's different. Like Parsons, they want to use him everywhere. Now I think that is a bad pick until he moves to DN. If they don't move him to DN because he plays a hybrid and he plays 25% snaps at middle linebacker and everything else at DN and then some safety, that's not a good pick. That's not he's not going to score a lot. He'll make big plays. He'll have big weeks, but it's kind of like Khalil Mack syndrome, right? Like, you want that guy at DN because when he gets those big sack games, you really score a lot of points. Not when he gets the big sack games, you kind of score a lot of points because that's what you need out of guys like that. So if he's another Khalil Mack-ish player where he's in a 4-3, which is insane because he's popping in and out, we're gonna have to pay attention to players like that because you don't want those players. If they're gonna,
Right.
unless they get the DN tag. If they get the DN tag and he's playing linebacker, that's amazing.
Go ahead, Roman.
I'm looking forward to Daniel Enter playing Justin Fields twice.
Yeah, that's a good segue. I watched that game on last Sunday. I put my Walter Payton vintage jersey on. Had my daughter and my son, both sons downstairs, ready to hoorah the Bears, and we fucking got 49 yards of total offense. It was the worst football game I've ever watched, ever. I've never seen something so disgruntled and awful from a professional football team. It was disgusting. And I'm not down on Fields. I don't think it's on him. I think it proves why Nagy has decided to move forward with Dalton regardless of the pressure he gets and all that. Our offensive line is a fucking joke, but he did nothing to protect him. He did nothing to play to his skill level, to get him on the move and roll out and try to get little 4-yard, flood routes or something to get him going. We ran it was a fucking joke.
They built
and Nagy should be fired by week 6, and they need to get someone in there that is less egotistical, that thinks that his system is going to fit for everybody. And if you don't, I mean, he's a fucking joke. And as a Bears fan, I cannot wait till the day that he's fired and they get someone in there that understands the talent that they have and allow and gives Fields a chance. Because as a Bears fan, I know how we've handled quarterbacks in the past and in the history, and I actually don't want Fields to have to go through that. I care about him too much as a player, and I think he's too talented to let the fucking Chicago Bears franchise, fuck him in the ass. And so I don't know. I hope he gets better. I mean, Detroit's a good chance for him to rebound, and I think he has a good game this week, and we put some points up. But it was a nightmare to watch. And yeah, you're right, Roman. I don't think him going against the pass rush of the Vikings is going to do that kid any justice.
Yeah, I'm not going to lay on any more pipe than you just did, Corey. I could go on for 5 hours about how fucking I don't know why Chicago's a place where quarterbacks go to die. And B, I don't know how Matt Nagy still has a job even today. And I have a bad feeling he might reel off a couple wins and you might extend him for some insane reason.
If they extend him, I might become a Niners fan, and like just it might just be where like you've had enough, like you've given a fair shot.
You need to hang up the jersey.
Yeah, it's like, listen, guys, I've done my best. You can be secondary, but I've now shifted to being a Niners fan, and at least that franchise seems somewhat competent in how they, they manage their players and are at least going to be competitive year over year. So I don't know. It's tough to watch, but also it's also a segue into, I mean, the rookie quarterbacks in general have not been great this year. So like Zach Wilson's situation doesn't seem to be all that much better.
Okay, well, first of all, what do they all have in common?
They're on shitty teams.
They're on shitty offensive lines.
Right, offensive lines, yeah.
They're
I mean, Zach Wilson is getting murdered. He's getting murdered. And
well, I didn't think Zach Wilson was ever going to be good, to be fair.
I didn't either, but
I thought he'd be better than he has been. Not to say he can't be, but like, dude, the Jets are still so bad. They're still so poorly won. They're still so poorly fucking clown plays. There's like, I'm telling you, man, I watched that Jags game last night. You got fucking Urban Meyer running the fucking option like he fucking does in college, thinking like, it's second and 12. We're going to run the option and get 3 yards. So Trevor Lawrence has a nice 3rd and 9. What the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you intentionally trying to destroy and bury a guy with so much talent? And that's like, you watch the play calling. I mean, you talk to Jeremy, and Jeremy's a Clemson fan. He's watched every minute of every game, and he feels like he needs a fucking therapist. I mean, it's fucking out of control. It's so bad. I mean, there's not even a way. And somehow they're in these games, and I'm going to tell you right now, you watch those games, him and Burrow, despite their shitty offensive lines and getting fucking rattled and rocked all the time, they put some fucking passes on the goddamn dime. They put passes on places where you just look at and you're like, oh, yep.
But Burrow was
that.
destroyed last year from an offensive line standpoint too, and still managed to put up some pretty decent numbers. I think he has some more weapons, and maybe I mean, it's hard
to the point. Their coach was actually like, okay, we're behind by fucking 21 points. Now let's try and fucking throw the rock. Where Urban Meyer's like, we're down by 21 points. I mean, that didn't happen in this game, but it's like, oh, let's keep running the option. It's going to work eventually. And the only way they fucking started gaining yards was when Trevor actually kept the ball. But they were running the most predictable plays.
They were running the option last night?
The whole fucking time. And imagine there's like a funnel of linebackers just in the fucking middle. And it's like, I mean, Trevor's got to fucking call audibles or something like that, but he probably doesn't even have that option. They probably won't even let him fucking call audibles because it's like, Urban Meyer knows fucking better. And like, I'm telling you, you're like, no way you're going to run this option right now. There's fucking one-on-one all on rushing receivers, and they fucking just packed everyone up. And it's like, oh, lost a 3, lost a 3, lost a 2, lost a 4, lost a 3. And it's just like, wow.
I gotta go back and watch the game.
That's how they're gonna play football. And they still managed to be in it, man. They were up almost 21-0. And I'm telling you,
they've been in the last 2 weeks, though. Jacksonville was in the game last week too.
By Trevor Lawrence competing 3rd and 14s and 3rd and 12s and 3rd and 18s and 3rd and dude, it's like insane. And like people are like, well, Trevor doesn't look very good. It's like, well, their 3rd down completion percentage is actually pretty good. and has the most to go of anyone in the league. So it's like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
if you put anybody into third and long, like it's not a winning proposition. So
I
don't
remember
care.
one year when Kirk Cousins was like, we were the most long on third down. This is like from penalty. We had a worst offensive line of like probably my history of remembering. And he was number one in third down completions per yards, right? Because like on average, he was like in 3rd and 12.
Yeah.
It was like, that's what a bad offensive line does for you. But like, they still have James Harden. Like, you should still be able to manifest plays. But I'm telling you, the play calling is just like, it's next level bad. It's next level. It's like there's not a team, and even the Bears, man, really bad play calling in the sense that you're not going to bring in more protection and you're not going to bring in guys to chip. I mean, dude, Cincinnati started bringing in when they were getting rocked, they brought in another offensive lineman and another a tight end. So they're playing 2 tight ends, 2 tackles, and just 2 wide receivers. It's like there's Chase, there's Boyd. Fucking make sure Burrow can throw it, and that's it. And they were bringing the house, and they were able to fucking come back and win the game by doing that, man.
Yeah.
And like, you know who's not going to do that? Urban fucking Meyer, because he sucks.
Yeah. Well, include Matt Nagy in that category as well.
I agree. I mean,
I
he's
can't.
pretty close, man.
I
He's
can't.
pretty close.
He's not Trustman level bad, but he's
He's pretty
certainly
up there, man. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
I don't know, Ben. I feel like we've talked a lot about stuff. We lost Roman. Is there anything else you kind of want to touch upon? I don't know if this was valuable to anybody, but it's always good to chat with you. We're kind of going unstructured these days, so anything.
I mean, like, it's hard to talk about the league when we're not really preparing to talk about the league. You know.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Cheers to all our 3-0 teams who are looking good, except for Georgia.
I think
Sterling is on his way down.
Just like the NFL, though, because of the way we don't have preseason anymore, and you don't get to really get a true evaluation of teams until probably week 5, week 6. I mean, we have an understanding, but there's still going to be a lot of teams that kind of figure some shit out. And it's the same way with fantasy. Like, I've learned over the years, like, you can't panic after 3 weeks. You're going to have a return to the means. Like, there's teams that are putting up big points that are going to have some off weeks, and like, you just got to get back to 500 or so by week 6.
I would say you can panic if you have like 6 guys on IR who are your best players,
right,
for the season, right?
Outside of injury, yeah.
All right, but like, even then, it's like tanking. Like, you got to figure out, like, getting rid of assets. Sometimes, like, I might be in that position eventually, but I don't know. I score points. I'm 0-3, but I'm scoring points. I'm not going to score enough points to be even close to that top 8 lottery.
Yeah.
I'll probably finish in the middle somewhere. I'd have to get really hot, I think, with and like my players would have to stop being injured for me to make a run, which can always happen, you know? I mean, I thought the Tyson Williams thing was going to be a real breakthrough, and like somehow they're not running the ball either, which is very strange.
Yeah, it's going to be strange to see what happens this week with them. It's like, how do you not give that guy the ball? Like, I've watched those games. He has the most juice. He's just fucking things up, obviously, and they don't trust him to, like, whether it be the handoffs or just the reads he's making on pass protect. I mean, like, he looks way more explosive than the other 2 back. I mean, Devontae Freeman, I mean, I'm sorry. That one play that he had in the open field, like, I have a 14-year-old son that looks more explosive than he does. So you can't tell me that it has to be some sort of a trust issue with him, and not. And
they're saying they're excited about Bell, so let's see.
Well, if they're so excited about Bell, is because he was fat and out of shape, and then now all of a sudden he's dead. I mean, like, come on, like,
they're all fucking. It's like that team and the fucking 49ers is just literally like. It's so gross to have to depend on that in a league like this. You'd rather just not do anything and stay as far away as possible. It's the same thing.
I mean, look at what happened to the Patriots backfield last week. Fucking Bolden had 56% of the snaps. Yeah, it's like you draft Stevenson, you have Taylor.
But we at least expect that to an extent, but with the Patriots. But holy shit, man! It's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're not going to run the ball 40 times a game, Baltimore, unless it's like 20 times with Lamar's legs. It's like, wow.
That being said, with Baltimore, I'm looking forward to see Rashad Bateman come back and see what he does.
Is he back this week or next week?
He started practicing this week. I don't know if he'll actually be playing a lot of snaps this week. But I mean, with Hollywood Brown, actually looks pretty decent if he was held on to the football. I think Bateman could actually have a pretty good second half of the season. They're throwing the
I
ball
think
more.
so,
They need
too.
another receiver. I think it'll be interesting to see if he can. Hamstring injuries are always rough for receivers.
Yeah, it's
but-
just on like how much, he's, when you're a precise runner and you get separation like he does, like a hamstring injury is going to fuck that up. So hopefully it's back and it's like they don't rush him and he comes back and plays, because that's the type of thing you rush a guy back and he does these hard plants, like these super fucking like tight moves to try and get separation. The hammy just pops again. He's on the IR and done for the year, So hopefully they don't fuck that up, because I agree they're in a position where if Hollywood Brown is getting separation, I mean, he blew it for them last week, but
Yeah, but I would be a pretty optimistic if I was a Hollywood Brown owner, because at least he's looked explosive and he's separating and he looked like the number one option. We'll see what happens when Bateman comes back. He is the number one option, but after the first couple seasons with him, it was a little bit touch and go, and he seems to be putting it together a little bit this year.
Yeah.
So. And then just lastly, I just want to throw. I'm very excited to see what happens with Jamison Crowder this week. Obviously, he's high on my.
We got that Bears bet. You're in way better shape than I expected at this point. I will admit that, but I also didn't think that Crowder would be out as much. We'll see. I mean, facts. They need him.
They need something. I mean, that quick underneath kind of guy
Like
that
Corey
they can
Davis
get rid of
is
the ball fast.
crushing now that they won't and sorry about your boy Barry. It's like they won't guard anyone. They're putting 3 people over on Corey Davis. Is like, we don't think anyone else can get open one-on-one enough for the accuracy of fucking
Or the time, right? Or the time.
Or the time, yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have
So
any
you
time.
see, like he's getting chipped at the line with the guy in the mid range and safety over the top on Corey Davis. It's just like, holy fuck, RIP. So if anything, if you get Crowder running a lot of slot underneath stuff and getting some chain moving stuff, that keeps the defense off. That I would say that's probably better for Corey Davis than it is actually for Jamison Crowder. That's my feeling. But that's if he's dealing with that hammy too, or growing, or maybe it's a growing. And either
He's
way,
dealing with everything. He's always dealing with everything. The guy's a walking,
you're a
the walking
that
issue.
focus,
He's a walking designation tag of questionable. Anywho, hey man, it's always good to catch up. Please tell Anel I say hello. Have a wonderful anniversary dinner. Make sure you grunt one out tonight for me.
We're gonna go get some carne asada tacos and a couple margaritas right now, and then a nice dinner tonight. And it'll be
That's
a good
awesome,
one.
man.
Normally we always do concerts, right? That's all we was trying to do on our. I've been seeing like the memories. It's like all these concerts.
Are
that
you
we've
still
tried
coming
go
to Sacramento in October?
No,
You guys canceled that trip?
we never had it booked.
I thought you guys were doing that concert.
No, I mean I was just hopeful thinking, but I did book did book to go back home to Cali from the 29th of October till the 6th of December.
Are you serious?
I'll be there 5 weeks.
Oh, we're coming down. We'll meet you down. We'll meet you down there for sure.
Yeah, actually, who else is going to be there? Clemens is going to be in San Diego for a stretch.
We got to plan something out, man, because that's only that's a 4-hour trip. We'll get an Airbnb or something somewhere near you for a weekend.
Man, what's San Diego? San Diego's great, man. Like fucking
Well, then-
Airbnb in San Diego and like go hang out with Clemens and his fucking stomping grounds. I like that.
Yeah,
You
Rox
might have
has family down
wanna
there,
come
so we can go stay with her brother for a few days, and we'll all meet up. San Diego is a great place for a reunion for sure.
Yeah, Georgia, you're gonna have to come down and see me, son. I'm not gonna have a car. I'm not gonna be fucking mobile.
Oh, Georgia will be down there for sure. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, get a real meetup.
We'll get Sin City to come. Maybe we'll just have a huge ball for Sunday. That sounds like a wonderful way to spend an afternoon.
I'm in.
All right, buddy. Love you. I'll get this uploaded soon. Take care.
All right, you too.
Bye.